Did you know that in Bulletstorm, after calmly interrogating the mercenary at the beginning of the game, if you try to fire your gun, your character will take a drink? You can do this as much as you want with no repercussions. Hello and welcome to another episode of Hidden Video Game Details. In today's video we try to justify our purchase of the Nintendo Switch 2 in Mario Kart World Tour, we get roasted by Jeff Goldblum in the Lost World Jurassic Park, and we try to restore life to an old pizza place in Dead by Daylight. As always, if you think you know of a hidden detail or Easter egg that I haven't covered before, then let me know in the comments. And if you do enjoy these videos, then leaving a like is really appreciated. Anyway, without further delay, let's get started. Right, let's begin today's video with Doom the Dark Ages. Now, in the last episode of this series, we discovered that Doom Guy would play with himself. Not like that. I mean, he would play with the toy version of himself when you found it in-game. Now, I thought that was the only toy that Doom Guy played with, but it turns out that's not quite true. When you find the toy version of Surratt, Doom Guy's dragon, he will do this. So that's now two toys that Doom Guy can play with. And to be honest, it's nice to see him have some fun. Now, I'll be very surprised if many of you have heard of this next game. But it's a game that I've been playing a lot recently, which meant I had to find something to put in a video to justify the time that I've spent with it. Desktop Survivors 98 is a roguelike dungeon crawler with a twist. You see, the game actually takes place on your desktop, or in my case, my Steam library. Now at first, it can be hard to work out what's going on. After a couple of runs, you'll be slaying enemies like there's no tomorrow. Given that the game has a Windows 98 vibe, the weapons and power-ups all have a Windows theme. These include enemy destroying word art and even a trash bin that fires your unwanted documents at enemies. One of the power-ups is the infamous blue screen of death, which appears on screen for a second before disappearing again, but not before killing all of the enemies on screen. Well, I wanted to see what this blue screen actually said. And I can reveal that the message reads, press Ctrl-Alt-Delete to restart your computer. If you do this, it will be a waste of time because this is not real. I mean, is this the most mind-blowing detail you've ever seen? No. But does it at least make me feel a little bit better about playing so much Desktop Survivors 98? Yes. Yes, it does. So I recently shared that if you beat Spider-Man the movie game on the PS2, Tobey Maguire would tell you to go and touch grass.
Go outside and play.
And he wasn't even in his whole emo phase when he said it. Well, it turns out that Mr. Maguire isn't the only Hollywood big shot who thinks he can tell me what to do. If you manage to beat the Lost World Jurassic Park on the PlayStation 1, or just do what I do and use cheats, this cutscene will play.
How's this on? Can you hear me? It's on. Hello. If you can hear me, congratulations. Way to go. You made it through. You spent all that time, and now you're done. You did it. That's quite an achievement. My gosh, you looked a 20-foot carnivore right in the eye, and you've lived to tell about it. Well, you are something. Thank you for sticking with it, for not giving up. That is really something. Now you know what you should do? Turn the thing off, for heaven's sakes, and go outside. You know, breathe the air, take a walk, call a member of the opposite sex. You know what I'm talking about. You know, you have a whole life out there. Get the stink blown off you. Just go, really. Turn off. You. I mean, really. What was that? Hello. Okay, I go.
So it's Dr. Ian Malcolm, aka Jeff Goldblum's turn to tell me that I'm wasting my time playing games. Well, joke's on you, Jeff. I've made an entire YouTube channel about playing games, and you're just a Hollywood megastar. I think I got the better end of the deal. Now, I'm going to clear this up right away so you all know where I stand. Is Mario Kart World Tour worth $80? Absolutely not. Is the Nintendo Switch 2 worth $450? Absolutely not. Still, being a YouTuber who makes videos about games and stuff, I picked one up anyway, so you don't have to. I mean, the console has potential, and being able to play games like Pokemon Violet at a crisp 60 frames per second is nice, but right now, the Switch 2's lack of proper exclusives means that I wouldn't recommend it. Anyway, if you guys know anything about me, it's that I'm going to need to justify this purchase somehow. And that somehow is featuring the Switch 2 and more importantly Mario Kart World Tour in this video. Now when you approach Dry Bones Burnout, you can find gravestones with RIP engraved into them. Now, the more foolish among you may think that this means rest in peace. However, this is a Nintendo game, and if you look at the back of the gravestones, they instead say race in peace. The other World Tour detail that I found is actually pretty cool. I mean, it's not $80 cool, but it's cool nonetheless. When you take your car off land and onto the water, there is a chance that this will happen. So a seagull will join you on your journey before leaving as you get closer to land, something which seagulls do in real life. The most seagulls I've had join me on a trip is 2, but if you've had more, then please let me know. Oh, and one more Switch 2 related detail can be found in the GameCube emulator thing that's part of Nintendo's online service. At the time of recording, there are only 3 GameCube games available to play on the Switch 2, with the promise of more to come. Now, when you boot up the emulator, you're greeted by a pretty bog standard screen. Well, if you hold any direction on the left thumbstick, this will happen instead. So to some of you, this screen just triggered some serious nostalgia, as that was the original startup screen for the GameCube. That's not the only startup screen for the GameCube on the Switch 2 either. If you once again hold the left thumbstick in any direction and then quickly press the right bumper when the Switch 2 logo appears, this will happen. So this was one of these secret startup screens from the original GameCube, which is a nice touch. Is it a $450 nice touch? Well, what do you think? Right, let's end today's video with Dead by Daylight. Now, the latest addition to the massive cast of characters in Dead by Daylight is Springtrap from Five Nights at Freddy's, who also brings with him the Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria map. Now, I'm by no means a FNAF expert, but even I think that this map is really cool, and it does have some really nice details that you might miss when running for your life. First up, and perhaps the most unsettling detail of them all, if you stand in the toilets, you can hear this. So if you listen closely, you can hear the faint sounds of children laughing and playing. Given that Springtrap is possessed by the spirit of William Afton, who let's just say you wouldn't want to hire as a babysitter, and of course Freddy's Pizza Place was the go-to place for kids, it's really creepy hearing kids laughing. Next up, when you go into one of the storerooms, this will happen. So an exoskeleton will appear from the vents before dying. I'm guessing that this jump scare will alert the killer to where you are, which isn't very nice. Now, on the main stage, you can find 3 of the animatronics powered down. They don't move and they pose no threat. Or at least I hope they don't. Well, next to the stage is the workshop, where you can find the heads of some of the animatronics, and even though these are definitely powered down, they will still keep an eye on you. So the eyes of the animatronics' heads will follow you as you move past them, which is really creepy. The final detail I noticed on this map is actually the animatronics on stage. If you power up the main generator, this will happen. So for a brief time, we can see what the pizza restaurant was like in its heyday. And I don't know about you, but I still think it was really creepy. So that's it. If you know of any cool things in games that you think I should check out, then please leave them down in the comments. Big or small, obvious or not obvious, if I think it's cool, I'll include it in a video and of course credit you like these people here. A big thank you to my final boss and above patron tier members. Those are Lava Green, Corey Sevo, Steve the Writer, Invictus Echo, Bloodbasher, The Meatly, and Alktop. To check out my Patreon, use the link in the description. And as always, thank you all for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.